Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thank you for joining us. Topping the headlines, Chinese embassy celebrates 64th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Len Ishmael, leaves the post with a sense of pride and accomplishment. And CARICOM concludes 2 days of consultations in Dominica. Stay with us for details of these stories and more right after the break.
Hey, I had a good time in Tonga last weekend, a pretty girl, man.
Hey, carry me next time when you're going now.
Where we get paid Friday, we gon' go.
Careful, they might catch AIDS.
AIDS? Them girl pretty. Them girl can't get AIDS,
I
man.
think it's only ugly women have AIDS. Anybody could get it. If you get sick, what you can tell your wife?
Hey, your wife, come in.
Hey, change the topic. Change the topic.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home AIDS.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Welcome back. The founding of the People's Republic of China was celebrated by the Chinese embassy on Wednesday with a reception to mark its 64th anniversary. China, which was once invaded by imperialist countries and reduced to a semi-colonial and a semi-feudal society, overcame invaders and became the master of their own land. On October 1st, 1949, the People's Republic of China was founded and is today the second largest economy in the world. As a result, the government of Dominica, along with Dominica's head of state, His Excellency Eliud Williams, and members of the diplomatic corps joined in the celebration. Chinese ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Wang Zonglai, during his speech stated that during the time of the invaders, becoming masters of their own land seemed to be just a dream. However, with a unification of people and a vision, the People's Republic of China was formed.
His Excellency President Xi Jinping put forth the important thinking of the Chinese dream. The Chinese dream includes the 2 100-year goals, which are finishing the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects by 2021, and then building an affluent, strong, civilized, and harmonious socialist modern country by 2049.
The Chinese people, according to Ambassador Zonglai, are making great efforts to realize their own dreams and that of the Chinese dream.
The Chinese dream requires a peaceful and stable international environment, and China will exert every effort to realize the dream through peaceful development.
The ambassador emphasized China's commitment to helping other developing and neighboring countries achieve common developments and goals. He says the Chinese dream is closely linked with the dreams of other people around the world.
When our countries established diplomatic relations almost 10 years ago, the Chinese dream got connected with the Dominican dream. During all these years, there have been some economic and technical cooperation in the areas of infrastructure, education, health, agriculture, and so on. We have also kept close coordination and collaboration in international affairs. Our win-win approach and mutually beneficial relationship have provided our people with better chances of realizing their own dreams and at the same time contributing to the realization of the dreams of our countries.
He highlighted new developments that have recently occurred in the Dominica-PRC bilateral relations.
Meetings were held between Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Garrett and the new Chinese leadership, including President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang. The State College and the State House projects were completed. Last weekend, a group of Chinese experts arrived in Dominica, and they are now working hard on the technical preparations for building the new Princess Margaret Hospital.
In addition, 10 more Dominican students embarked on their journey for higher education in China earlier this month. The ambassador expressed his confidence in the further development of the China-Dominica friendship. Dominica and China will both celebrate the 10th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries next year. And to that, Prime Minister Skerritt says he remains committed to the decision he made 10 years ago.
In respect to the relationship which exists between Dominica and China, and we're approaching very rapidly 10 years since the establishment of relations with China, I continue to maintain that this was the best decision in the interest of Dominica. It was a progressive decision, and it was a decision based on the vision for the Commonwealth of Dominica. And everyone can agree that this relationship has been mutually beneficial to China and to Dominica.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt described the People's Republic of China as a trailblazer in and an integral part of worldly matters.
China has no doubt entrenched itself in history and also the furtherance of development of the world. China is, in fact, a member of the Security Council and a very important balancing member of the Security Council, because China always brings reason to important matters which present themselves before the Security Council. China continues to champion the cause of small developing states like ours, speaking on our behalf at the G20 on very critical issues affecting small states. China continues to be a leader in innovation insofar as matters relating to climate change and how we can become more resilient as countries in climate change.
He says China, despite their own challenges, has been able to extend assistance to other countries.
You have not only kept this for yourselves, you have been able to share these resources, this knowledge, these innovations with many countries, including those which do not recognize the One China policy, because you recognize as a country your greater responsibility to the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, 2 Chinese delegations, according to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, are on the island to finalize plans for the commencement of work on the Newtown Primary School and the new Princess Margaret Hospital.
As we speak, we have 2 very important delegations here from China. One has to do with the preparatory work for the commencement of the construction of a new primary school for the students of Newtown and environs. This is a grant from the government of China to the people of Dominica in the furtherance and advancement of education for children. The second very important delegation that's here is a delegation which is now discussing with the government of Dominica the final drawings for the new Princess Margaret Hospital. I can say to Your Excellency and to the delegation here and to the citizens of Dominica that I have seen the draft designs of the hospital, and so far I am very, very satisfied with what has been presented to us. This is going to be a magnificent facility for the people of Dominica, which will aid in delivery and in improvement in delivery of healthcare services for our people. And I will say further that once constructed, this will be the most modern, the most advanced hospital we'll have in the OECS and maybe the Caribbean.
In other news, Dominica's geothermal program will be the center of discussions for the next 2 days as government hosts a development partners forum at the Fontaine Hotel. Representatives of regional and international organizations are attending the meeting, including regional councils of Guadeloupe and Martinique, the Clinton Climate Change Initiative, the World Bank, the United Nations Development Program, Agence Française de Développement, donor agencies and other agencies from New Zealand and Italy.
We believe that this forum is the first of its kind to gather in the English-speaking Caribbean and perhaps the first of its kind in the Americas. For us, you represent the best that the world has to offer in knowledge, skill, experience in developing and operating geothermal resources, and I dare add financial capacity. We will be sharing with you all that we have done in developing the resource in the Roseville Valley. In turn, we want you to be frank, to ask the hard questions, and to identify any pitfalls you may see ahead as we gain momentum in commercializing the resource. We want to leave no room for errors as we proceed, and we repose our trust in you that this will be accomplished.
Energy Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, in his address at the official opening on Thursday morning, spoke of some of the aspects of the geothermal program.
By mid-October, in the drilling of 2 full-size wells, one a production well, and secondly a reinjection well in the villages of Loader and Trafalgar, respectfully. It has to be noted that as we speak, the requisite assessment is being done, and we are hopeful that that environmental impact assessment will be concluded before the actual drilling of those full-size wells. The government of Dominica has signed a contract with the Icelandic drilling company in December 2012 for that purpose, to the tune of $17.4 million. Funding for that phase will come from a loan facility from the EDF and a grant of $2 million, my dear friends, from the Caribbean Investment Facility of the European Union.
There are plans by the Roosevelt-Skerritt administration to construct a 20-megawatt plant for local consumption and a 100-megawatt plant for export to neighboring islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique. GIS News will bring you more details of the ongoing Development Partners Forum in the weekend edition of National Focus. Moving along, following 10 years of service to the region, Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Len Ishmael, is leaving the post with a sense of pride and accomplishment. The Director General, who is the Chief Executive of the organization, has been responsible for the overall administration and management of the organization. The Director General is in Dominica saying official goodbyes. In an exclusive interview with the Government Information Service on Thursday, Dr. Ishmael saluted the achievements of the OECS under her watch.
I think it's fair to say that it has been perhaps the most exhilarating journey of my life, full of passion and enthusiasm. It hasn't always been easy, but we've certainly gone where we've never gone before, and in the process of doing that, I think we're extremely proud of where we find ourselves right now. I think 2 things stand out. One, the fact that we've been able to really pursue a path that allows us to champion and advocate the cause of the OECS ourselves and undertake the intellectual work that's required to be able to put our own strategic interest on the global table. And secondly, to deepen the union among our member states by forming the economic union. And I think both of those things have been very, very credible, not only in the region, but internationally, and have redounded to the benefit of us as an organization and us as a region. I won't use the word sub-region. It's one which I don't particularly like. Sub sounds a little bit substandard. We are a small region in a larger region, and I think there's a tremendous amount that can be learned from the story of the OECS to date. And I'm really immeasurably proud to have been associated with our gains over the last 10 years.
Dr. Ismail described her tenure as one which was focused on fulfilling several mandates given by the OECS authority. Dr. Ismail noted that the work of the organization has been redirected towards the achievement of deeper integration among its member states in a more strategic way.
If you take a look around the world and take a look even at our region, it's very clear that sovereign states took a step back from the principle and the idea of integration and became much more protectionist and much more nationalistic in their own thinking, in their own ideology, to the detriment of integration as a fundamental principle of moving forward together as small states. We saw that certainly in CARICOM. The financial recession did something completely different for the OECS. Our view has always been that in times of turbulence, we need each other more, not less. So it accelerated our plans to deepen the union through the design of a brand new treaty, at the very center of which was establishment of an economic union. So that's the first thing, so that we accelerated that pace and we have formed an economic union.
Dr. Ismail says the OECS is now being viewed as an organization of sound repute and stature both regionally and internationally.
The OECS model is one which is exceptional in that we have pooled our human and financial resources to provide a rather impressive array of institutional architecture at the level of our region. So we are the only group of small countries ever to have had a single Supreme Court, a single currency, a single central bank, a single telecommunications authority, a single authority for civil aviation. We have joint diplomatic missions. And it's also important to understand that even though the EU has formed an economic union, for such a long time in advance of us having formed an economic union, the truth is our institutional architecture was much more advanced. So that the euro, for example, is only about 12 years old, and it is in crisis. We know that. We have been witness to it, and in fact, we have also experienced some of the fallout as a result of the world in crisis, financial crisis. But our EC dollar has been in existence now for more than 40 years. We've had joint diplomatic missions in different parts of the world, the first one being in Brussels in 1986. It's only last year, under the new Treaty of Lisbon, that the European Union was able to establish its first joint representation anywhere in the world. And we've been doing this for decades. So though we are small, there are lessons of experience that we export to the rest of the world.
The current OECS Director General will demit office at the end of the year to take up a new position in Brussels. The new Director General is expected to be selected by the end of this year. The position of Director General is open to nationals of the OECS member states and is tenable as of January 1st, 2014. Officials of the Adult Education Division have been assured that the current administration will provide the necessary finances to ensure that its programs are successfully implemented. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit gave the assurance during his address at the national graduation ceremony of the Adult Education Division.
As Minister of Finance, I shall make all the monies available to implement the programs of this year during the adult education program.
The Prime Minister called for a dialogue between the Small Business Support Agency and officials of the Adult Education Division.
You can advise them on who are your successful participants in the program, so we can provide them with the financing required to start their small business and create employment for themselves. And if you're available on Friday, I shall make myself available where I will sit in at the meeting for a few minutes to introduce yourself to the small business unit and let them know that they have clear instructions from the Minister of Finance to assist you and assist those participants in getting the financing required to set up your small businesses and so forth. Because yes, there is training, but we need to get them this jump start in setting up their small businesses.
On Monday and Tuesday this week, CARICOM officials, along with a CARICOM Change team from William Associates, held consultations with various sectors of the society in Dominica. The sessions concluded on Tuesday. Groups consulted included the government of Dominica and the opposition, the private sector, labor, cooperatives, the public sector, civil society, the youth, and the media. These discussions were held in an effort to garner new ideas and recommendations from the people with a view to move CARICOM forward over the next 5 years. Several matters of interest to Dominicans regarding the status of CARICOM were brought to the fore.
There's a question as to, is CARICOM relevant? I think we need to ask those questions right now. At the time it was formed, fine. Coming out of the West Indian Federation, everybody was forming some association, some block somewhere, so we fell in line. But do we really need a regional integration? And if so, what should be the structure of the regional integration we should be pursuing? Because what I understood from the heads of government is that CARICOM is a given. It is there to stay. Let's see how we make it work. But I think we need to go back a bit. There may just be something else that would deliver the results that we need in the region other than a CARICOM and other than a regional integration movement of that structure.
The matter of labor was also addressed. Bernard Nicholas of the Dominica Trade Union singled out labor as being too important to be overlooked.
Labor cannot be dealt with as some little entity, as NGOs and so on. Labor is too important.
Several other matters of interest were brought up by the public, including crime and security, transportation, banking and finance, and free movement. And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt qu'a fait parole que le gouvernement Dominique fait nomination ancien ministre de la Sécurité nationale Charles Savren pour position président Dominique. Selon Premier ministre Skerritt, Savren voyait papier résignation du cabinet plus bonnet semaine là. Honorable Skerritt dit, Parlement qui joint lundi semaine prochaine, on a expecté que Savren qui électé comme président neuf Dominique. Premier ministre là aussi fait parole que l'inauguration président Savren qui prend place mardi et puis pour travail mercredi. Président Savren qui prend travail salam après des monde qui étaient nominés avant pas accepter position salam. À la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominique tient un grand forum qui a concerné le potentiel géothermique Dominique. Plusieurs organisations locales, régionales et internationales en Dominique pour des jours, quant à information à ces ressources géothermiques pays là. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt et ministre énergie Honorable Rayburn Blackmore adressé cérémonie bon matin là, où là yo expliqué ressources là et puis bénéfices et kaini à l'économie pays là. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt aussi si agrément et puis conseil régional Guadeloupe pour projet ça là. Selon le ministre de l'Énergie Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, le projet ça là vraiment autant important pour Dominique.
Nous avons invité les gens qui est intéressant pour aider nous à Dominique pour développer géothermal en Dominique. Comme ça, nous avons bâti 3 petits tours en Loda. Et bien, tout de suite, nous avons commencé pour bâtir 2 gros tours, comme la production and injection well. Aussi, nous avons confiance. Tout de suite, nous avons bâti un petit plan pour mener pour l'énergie plus bas pour mon Dominique, pour mon taper un soulagement de qualité pour l'énergie Dominique. So, aussi, nous avons dit, nous avons espoir, nous avons bâti un beau plan aussi. So, Dominique veut plus gros bénéfice encore. Après ça, nous avons payé plus de $1 pour l'énergie, pour kilowatt-hour. Là, nous avons bâti ce plan. Nous avons coupé pour l'énergie en half. Nous avons dit comme ça, en 2015, nous avons bâti ce plan et développé le géothermal. So, nous aussi, nous avons pris le monde dans l'agency qui a demandé nous check pour voir ça nous a déjà fait Dominique. Pour aider nous à bagaille finance, aider nous à bagaille légal, aider nous à bagaille technical, aider nous à bagaille loi. Pour nous faire certain, nous développer une ressource qui bénéficie nous tout en Dominique. Non, nous avons parlé, nous avons dit ça. Quand on vice-président Regional Council Guadeloupe, c'est pour le gouvernement ça qui a fait un effort exceptionnel pour développer le développement de la Dominique. C'est un barrage qui est bien important pour nous en Dominique. Puisque nous passons à continuer à vivre en Dominique avec qualité de énergie pour ça nous en Dominique. C'est les bonnes parties de l'administration ça bien sérieux qu'on développe Dominique. Nous savons, aujourd'hui, confronté d'aujourd'hui et demain, qui est un barrage qui est bien bon pour nous en Dominique.
En la nouvelle, Attorney General Honorable Levi Peter a annoncé que Kurt de Freitas, qui était nominé comme DPP pour la Dominique, pas qu'il accepté position ça là encore. Selon Honorable Peter, de Freitas pas accepté position là selon vieille parole négative qui sortit à Internet hot Dominique. De Freitas a formé le gouvernement Dominique contre décision selon un email envoyé par l'office légal. De Freitas fait parole qui c'est vieille parole ça là au compte ligne car bien dommagé Kawatei raison pour décision. Quand même Attorney General Peter dit selon situation salam gouvernement qui ni a tapé en l'autre monde pour chaîne position ça là. Finalement réunion 2014 qui a chaîne anti-savane qu'a expecté pour rebrancher citoyens communauté ça là l'autre pays et puis famille ayo ici en Dominique. Parole ça là sorti votre président comité qui en charge Claudius Lestrade.
En l'autre côté, nous, les places emphasis, c'est que c'est moun nous ni l'autre pays en l'eau, moun hoti saban, ka vivre l'autre pays, yo aller comme nan, et yo pas convier, yo pas connaître famille yo, et génération ha venir les générations. Comme ça, yon c'est idée nous ni c'est pour mener ces moun ça la vie pour yo connaître famille yo qui dit saban et famille yo qui dit saban connaître yo. Comme ça pour maintenir film nous pour connecter famille là avec village ensemble. Ça c'est une bonne opportunité nous que réunion qui achieve vini 2014 car aller devant.
Messieurs mesdames, ça c'est toute pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moi c'est McPherson, c'est Luce. Voilà.
Up next is your tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
In today's tip, we'll discuss the benefits of peppers. Hot or not, peppers may do more than round out your omelette or spice up your meals. They help you get some of your daily dose of vitamins and contain compounds that may be linked to weight loss, pain reduction, and other benefits. Peppers, by the way, are fruits, not vegetables. They're one of the richest sources of vitamin A and C and vitamin B6, which is vital for essential chemical reactions throughout the body, including those involving brain and immune function. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine. Thank you for watching.